Hello friends, this is Aya Varinelli, your Abundant Life Coach, and we're continuing on the topic of transformation. You know, we've been addressing this topic the entire month of October, and so if you've not had a chance to watch the other videos, I strongly encourage you to go to my YouTube channel, and we will post that link right in here, and feel free to watch all these free videos, all these tools that we're giving you at absolutely no cost to you. Why? Because I'm truly invested in your success. Because you know what impacts one of us impacts all of us. So I'm really committed to the concept of transformation, not just for myself, but for the people around me as well. So today, I want to focus on a topic that, you know, just depending on who you've talked to, you've heard about it. You know, people have come at it from different perspectives, right? And that's the topic of forgiveness. And what does that have to do with transformation? So you may have heard this saying, you know, you forgive not for the other person, but for yourself. And people will say things like holding on to unforgiveness is like drinking poison and hoping that it kills the other person, right? Which we know is absolutely insane. But even if you get beyond that whole concept of drinking poison, the very idea of harboring ill will, harboring anger, hurt that someone else has inflicted on you, but you're now choosing to hold on to it, to carry it, to allow it to create, you know, go deep within you and create roots and then produce fruit in your life. It's crazy, because what happens is that you're the one actually suffering for it, right? So have you ever had a situation where you ran into someone and you realized that, you know, you were being all friendly towards them, but they were basically giving you that cold shoulder, right? I wonder where that term came from. Anyway, and when you finally maybe coax them to share, you find out that they've been mad at you. They've been like really upset with you for months. And here's the thing. They've been thinking about it, ruminating on it, letting it like cause their blood pressure to rise, giving them heart palpitations, causing indigestion, you know, all of this stuff. Headaches, migraines, maybe there have been times when it got them so upset that they couldn't experience love from the people around them. They didn't want to go out and have a good time. And the whole time this was going on inside of them, you were clueless. They are mad at you, and it's affecting their quality of life, and you didn't even know. And so when I talk about forgiveness and transformation, I want you to understand that whatever, you know, what kills us a lot of times is not what goes in, it's what's within that comes out, right? It's really what we're doing on the inside to ourselves, and our emotions, our mind, the seat of our soul, what's you know, whirling around in there could literally cost you your life. And so here's an exercise that I strongly recommend that you do, right? And for some of you, you're going to be like, I'm not going through all that. Like, I'm over it. You know what? If you are, you are. But if you're not and you're lying to yourself, of what use is that? So I will say this to you before you decide, no, this isn't something that I need to do. Do it anyway. I mean, like, what's the downside of this? If you do it and you find out that you were harboring unforgiveness and now you've created an outlet and a way to let it go, awesome. If you do it and you realize, you know what, I really was already healed, great. You're even quote unquote more healed, right? Now you're really crystal clear that you're good with that. And so the exercise that I'm recommending for you to do, and for some of you this may take a while, depending on how many people you are harboring unforgiveness towards, right? But what I want you to do is to sit down with pen and paper, not an electronic device. There's something organically that happens when we actually have to write. Now, if you have a condition or something that causes you not to be able to write, and you would prefer to dictate your letter, you would prefer to speak it, you would prefer to type it, do whatever it takes. But if you can handwrite it, that would be the way I would recommend you do this. But what I want you to do is to make a list of the people who have just like hurt you to the core, right? It could be a parent who wasn't there for you in the way that you wanted them to be. It could be a family member who cut you down in a way that just has left you crippled, maybe. That their words play over and over again in your head. It could be a teacher, it could be a friend, it could be someone in the neighborhood, whatever it is. Write that person's name down. Write down what they did, and then what I want you to do, just like a brief sentence. They called me X, Y, and Z, or when I reached out to them, or they were just never in my life, whatever it is. And then what I want you to do is actually write a letter to them, spelling out exactly what they did, writing out specifics about how it impacted you, and then writing the words, I forgive you. So this is not some general thing like, you know what, I just forgive you, for doing me wrong and that's it. No. This is identify exactly what the wrong act or words were. Write down exactly how that impacted you. That allows you to connect to that hurt. See, whatever we don't face, like if we face something, we may not be able to get over it. But if you don't face it, you definitely will never get over it. So it's important that you're really clear with yourself. Like, seriously, how did this impact me? Not just from a standpoint of playing the victim, because sometimes we can go there, and that's not helpful either. But really, how did this impact me? Be very clear about it. And then look at all of it and say, you know what? I'm letting it go. Like releasing a balloon, right? Or burning a sheet of paper and it's gone, and even the ashes just float away, right? And say, I forgive you. And I would say just pray over it. And then if you need to rip it apart, rip it apart. If you need to burn it, burn it. I did an exercise one time with a group of women, and what we did was we wrote with ink, and we got a basin of water, and we put the letters in there, and we just watched the ink, right? The ink just started to fade off of the page. The just bled off the page and into the water and everything, and then we were able to just pour that out. We've done bonfires. I actually have a session coming up with a friend and her staff, and we're gonna have a big bonfire at the end of it. So I'm really excited about the work we get to do, just cleansing. But it's just a way of uprooting that thing that has taken up room in your heart, that has prevented you from really, these are the blocks that prevent us from really transforming into who we want to be, because we're holding on to anger and hurt and the past, and it's actually preventing us from growing, and you're just getting rid of it. Sometimes people like to dig a hole and bury it and be done, and you can do that, whatever works for you. But we want to forgive so that we can cleanse and we can unblock those blockages, and we can truly create that beautiful space that allows us to transform.